Hello everyone, welcome to the CA3 Climate Action and Advocacy on the Airwaves podcast. My name is Simon Evans and I welcome you. This project was undertaken with the financial support of the University of Calgary's Mobilizing Alberta Climate Action Grant Program. We are broadcasting on 90.9 FM CJSW in Calgary. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in Southern Alberta. The City of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. I hope you enjoy your time here on the airwaves as we dive into the world of climate action.
Whether you're tuning in from the warmth of your home or out while enjoying the beauty of nature, I want to invite you to reflect with me on something deeply important: climate action. When you hear the words climate activism, what comes to mind? Maybe it's images of large protests or the actions of big environmental groups like Greenpeace. But did you know that many of the most impactful climate actions are happening in much quieter, less visible ways? Today, we will explore the role of faith-based organizations, particularly Christian congregations, in addressing climate change in Southern Alberta. These groups might not always make the headlines, but they are playing a vital role in creating change. Their approach is unique because it's based on deeply held spiritual beliefs and values that inspire people to care for the planet in meaningful ways. As someone deeply committed to community development and environmental justice, I'm excited to bring you this important conversation on the role faith-based organizations are playing in climate action, particularly within Christian congregations here in Southern Alberta. What makes their approach so special? How does faith inspire people to care for the planet? What motivates these congregations to act on issues like climate change, and how do they translate their beliefs into practical action? Let's dive in and discover how spirituality and sustainability are coming together in this unique and powerful way. Hello and welcome to Climate Action and Advocacy on the Airwaves. Welcome everyone to today's episode. My name is Angele Alami. I am a Master of Social Work student at the University of Calgary, and I'm passionate about exploring the intersections of faith, social justice, and sustainable development. I'm also personally connected to this topic as a member of a Christian congregation called New Covenant Assembly, Calgary. In our church, we believe that caring for God's creation means looking beyond our immediate needs and considering the impact we can make on a global scale. As climate change becomes a more pressing issue, Christian congregations across Southern Alberta are stepping up in remarkable ways. In some cases, faith communities are leading initiatives, and in others, they are quietly influencing their communities, creating a ripple effect of awareness and action. But what's fascinating is that many of these efforts happen behind the scenes, often outside of the traditional spaces where we imagine climate activism to be taking place. Here in Southern Alberta, faith communities are responding to the climate crisis in ways that feel natural and aligned with their spiritual values. Many church members might not otherwise participate in environmental movements, but when framed as a responsibility of faith, it becomes an action they feel called to. This could be key to reaching new groups of people and building momentum for climate solutions, not just in Alberta, but across the country. Climate action for these congregations is not just about following trends or supporting policies. It's about living out our faith in a way that honors God's creation. Many of these congregations see climate action as a spiritual practice, a form of worship that's rooted in gratitude, care, and stewardship. They believe that Earth is a gift from God, one that they are responsible for protecting and nurturing. For them, environmental degradation is not just a physical issue, but a moral and spiritual one, and this perspective shapes their approach to climate action. Take, for example, the concept of stewardship, which is deeply ingrained in Christian theology. Stewardship in this context means that God entrusts humans to care for the earth. Rather than being exploiters of resources, we are meant to be caretakers, using what we need thoughtfully, conserving resources, and protecting the environment. This idea of stewardship is especially powerful because it isn't just about a duty. It's about a loving responsibility to take care of something precious. By caring for creation, they feel they are honoring God. At my church, New Covenant Assembly Calgary, for example, we've embraced the concept of stewardship in our community work, particularly through a recent clothing drive. We collected new and gently used clothing, shoes, and other items which could have easily ended up in landfills. Instead of discarding these items, we saw it as an opportunity to extend our use and provide for communities in need. We packed and shipped 10 containers of clothing and other essentials to Africa, where these items will serve a second life, helping families and individuals who may not have access to such resources. This initiative not only met a social need, but also prevented thousands of items from contributing to landfill waste, which is an important aspect of climate action. When items like clothing, shoes, and household goods end up in landfills, they don't just disappear. They take years, sometimes decades, to decompose. During this process, they release harmful green gases like methane, which contribute to climate change. It is estimated that the average North American throws away 37 kilograms of textile each year, much of which could be reused or recycled. Imagine if every congregation or community took similar steps to repurpose and redistribute items. The cumulative effect could significantly reduce landfill contributions and slow the release of methane gas. This kind of initiative is commonly associated with community organizations and nonprofits, but increasingly, congregations are recognizing that they too can play a role in reducing waste and promoting sustainability. Churches are taking on the responsibility of environmental stewardship by organizing these drives, encouraging recycling and reuse, and raising awareness about the environmental consequences of waste. We are seeing more faith communities organizing events that prioritize reuse, from clothing drives to food banks, demonstrating that climate action doesn't always look like tree planting or energy conservation. It can also involve reducing waste and supporting the circular economy. Interestingly, many people who participate in these faith-based efforts do not identify as activists in the traditional sense. They are everyday people, parents, teachers, retirees, students, who find a deep sense of purpose in caring for God's creation. Climate action becomes a natural extension of their faith. For many, seeing it as a religious duty or spiritual calling makes it more accessible and compelling, giving them a sense of responsibility that feels personal and urgent. One of the most powerful aspects of Christian climate action is its focus on hope. You see, a lot of messaging around climate change is very doom and gloom, and understandably so. We are facing some serious challenges. But for many people, this kind of messaging can feel overwhelming. Fear may grab attention, but it can also stop people from taking action. For many people, this kind of messaging can create a sense of hopelessness or even paralyze them from taking action. Fear, while a natural response, can make us feel like the problem is too big for us to make any real difference. Christian congregations, however, offer a different approach to climate action, one that is rooted in hope, resilience, and redemption. Instead of focusing solely on the potential destruction, they emphasize the possibility of healing, change, and renewal. Christian teachings on resurrection, renewal, and redemption resonate deeply here. The idea that we can repair what's broken, that there is always a way forward, and that no problem is too great for God's love and power, these are powerful motivations for action. In many congregations, this message of hope is communicated in sermons, Bible studies, and conversations. Church members are reminded that every positive action, no matter how small, is meaningful. They are encouraged to see themselves as part of a larger story, a story where hope and action can overcome despair and resignation. Many people find this perspective both empowering and reassuring. It helps them focus on what they can do rather than what they fear they cannot. Now, you might be wondering, what does faith-based climate action look like in practice? Let's bring this idea down to earth right here in Southern Alberta. Churches are engaging in a variety of initiatives that align their spiritual values with tangible sustainability efforts. Take, for example, Grace Presbyterian Church in Calgary. They regularly host climate conversations that explore environmental issues from a faith perspective, encouraging members to reflect on what it means to care for God's creation. These conversations are opportunities for members to connect their beliefs with tangible actions, such as conserving water, reducing energy use, or advocating for climate-friendly policies. For Grace Presbyterian, addressing climate change isn't just about protecting the earth. It's about renewing their faith by taking action that aligns with their beliefs. Faith communities also promote the idea of intergenerational responsibility. Christian teachings often emphasize caring for future generations, leaving a legacy of health, safety, and prosperity for those who come after us. For many congregations, this includes ensuring a livable planet for future generations. They see this as a deeply spiritual commitment, one that ties their current actions to the well-being of others in a powerful and eternal way. Another inspiring example is the Calgary Unitarians, a congregation that has received recognition as a green sanctuary. This designation reflects their commitment to environmental justice through practical and community-centered actions. They've taken several meaningful steps like film nights focused on environmental issues, followed by community reflections on the spiritual and ethical dimensions of climate action. These events bring together members to discuss topics like climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss, helping people make connections between their faith and environmental responsibility. Another initiative is the Community Garden Program, which encourages their members to grow their own food, learn sustainable gardening practices, and reconnect with the land. This program not only promotes sustainable food production, but it also serves as a hands-on experience in caring for creation. Advocacy efforts, such as participating in climate marches and writing letters to local government representatives to support stronger environmental policies. By using their voices in the public sphere, they show that faith and environmental justice are not separate concerns. Similarly, St. Martin's Anglican Church is committed to reducing its carbon footprints and encouraging its members to adopt eco-friendly habits. The leader of the church emphasizes practical actions like walking instead of driving whenever possible. The congregation is regularly reminded that every small action matters. Even something as simple as reducing personal car use is a form of stewardship and gratitude for the earth. The church also provides educational resources on sustainable living and hosts workshops on topics like energy efficiency and waste reduction. For St. Martin's, climate action is about translating values into everyday decisions. Through these efforts, these congregations are creating a ripple effect of positive change. Through these efforts, these congregations are creating a ripple effect of positive change. By encouraging each other to take small but consistent actions, they are helping to build a culture of sustainability within their communities. While these individual actions may seem small on their own, together they contribute to a larger impact on showing the power of community-driven climate action. These are just a few examples of how local congregations are taking concrete steps to make a difference, from energy-efficient practices to community events aimed at reducing environmental footprints. The great thing about these efforts is that they are not isolated. Faith groups are connecting, sharing ideas, and building networks. By working together, these faith communities are amplifying their impact. These faith-based groups are also collaborating with local environmental organizations and indigenous communities to ensure a broad approach to climate action. Partnerships like these demonstrate that climate action isn't just the responsibility of environmentalists. It's something we all need to unite around, regardless of our background or beliefs. In Calgary, the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good is an excellent example of how these congregations are coming together to tackle both environmental and social justice issues. This alliance isn't just a single organization, but rather a coalition, a true partnership that includes churches, faith-based groups, labor unions, and other community organizations. Their mission goes beyond simply addressing environmental concerns. They aim to build a more just, compassionate, and equitable society. The Alliance operates under the understanding that environmental degradation is inseparably linked to social inequalities, and they work on policies that advocate for sustainable development, climate resilience, and justice for the most vulnerable in society. One of the most powerful aspects of the Calgary Alliance is its ability to bring together congregations from diverse backgrounds, different denominations, and faith traditions united by a common commitment to stewardship, justice, and care for creation. By working together, they amplify their voices and increase their influence in local policy making. The Alliance recognizes that the effects of climate change, such as extreme weather events, food insecurity, and health issues, disproportionately impacts marginalized communities. Therefore, their approach to climate action isn't limited to reducing emissions or promoting green practices. It's also about addressing the social conditions that leave some people more vulnerable than others. The Calgary Alliance regularly hosts community meetings and public forums where members discuss pressing environmental issues, share stories, and brainstorm solutions. These meetings are often open to the public, which allows for a broader exchange of ideas and helps build community awareness and engagement. During these discussions, participants explore practical ways to address climate change within their own communities, such as promoting public transportation, supporting urban agriculture, and advocating for energy-efficient housing. These local solutions are discussed alongside larger policy initiatives, creating a holistic approach to climate action that encompasses both individual responsibility and systemic change. Public events and actions organized by the Alliance bring further attention to critical issues. For example, they've hosted rallies and prayer vigils focused on climate justice, events that draw community members, policymakers, and media attention. These gatherings are powerful, both spiritually and symbolically, because they demonstrate solidarity among diverse congregations and signal to decision makers that faith communities are deeply invested in the future of their environment and society. These events often feature speeches, prayers, and music, creating an atmosphere that is as much about reflection and commitment as it is about activism. By framing climate action as a moral imperative, the Alliance inspires participants to see environmental stewardship as integral to their faith, ethics, and responsibility towards others. The Alliance's emphasis on education and empowerment also sets it apart. Through workshops, seminars, and educational materials, they equip congregations and community members with the knowledge and tools to take meaningful action. They explore topics like energy conservation, waste reduction, and sustainable food practices, and provide tips on how congregations can implement eco-friendly practices in their churches. They encourage members to look at every aspect of their daily lives through an environmental lens, from their daily habits to their choices as consumers. This educational approach fosters a shared sense of responsibility and empowers individuals to make sustainable choices that align with their faith values. By weaving together environmental, social, and economic issues, the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good demonstrates that climate action is not just about protecting the environment, but about creating a more just and equitable society. Their collaborative approach is a model for how faith communities can lead in the fight for climate justice, bringing together voices that might otherwise remain unheard in the environmental movement. It is a powerful reminder that when congregations unite, their combined efforts can make a sustainable difference, one that reflects a commitment to caring for both creation and community. In these ways, the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good serves as a beacon for faith-based climate action. They are not only advocating for policy change, but fostering a community that values compassion, justice, and shared responsibility. Through their work, the Alliance reminds us that climate justice is, at its core, an act of love for our neighbors, for future generations, and for the earth that sustains us all. They've worked alongside local groups to promote sustainable development and equitable climate practices. This level of collaboration shows that the strength of faith-based activism isn't just in the actions of one congregation, it's in the collective impact of many. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a question to reflect on. What role can faith play in addressing the challenges of climate change in your own life? Whether or not you're part of a religious community, the principles we've discussed, hope, stewardship, and care for others, are values that we can all embrace. They can guide us towards more mindful, responsible, and compassionate ways of living on this planet. Faith-based climate action may be less visible, but it's a powerful force for good. It offers a sense of purpose and hope in the face of uncertainty. And as we've seen here in Southern Alberta, it's already making a difference. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this conversation has inspired you to think about the connections between spirituality and sustainability in new ways. If you'd like to learn more or get involved, be sure to check out local faith communities and environmental groups that are doing incredible work in this space. Until next time, let's keep the faith and continue caring for our beautiful planet. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends and family, and let's spread the message of hope and action together. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Climate Action and Advocacy on the Airwaves. We hope you enjoyed your time here. This project was undertaken with the financial support of the University of Calgary's Mobilizing Alberta Climate Action Grant Program. We are broadcasting on 90.9 FM CJSW in Calgary. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in Southern Alberta. The City of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. Thank you, and I hope to catch you on the airwaves soon.